This is part one of a three-part series entitled Exploring Holistic Health Alternatives. I'm excited about our guest tonight. It's something that I had seen done, I had seen it on YouTube and had thought it was interesting and finally tried it for myself. I guess a couple months ago now,
Mhm.
Kim.
Yeah.
And so when I decided I wanted to do a series talking about holistic health healing methods, you were the first person that came to mind. And so thank you. I appreciate you doing this for me tonight. I am going to introduce you all. This is Kimberly Dunn. She is the founder of Rays of Life. She is a certified bioengineer and sound therapy practitioner. And as usual, the call is very casual. Please pop in questions in the chat, or just if you can raise your hand on the Zoom section. Or once she's finished, you just want to chime in, feel free. A very casual, relaxed setting. I do want to mention that there is a disclaimer in the chat that this is not to be mistaken for medical advice. There are no medical claims to this. This is just an alternative um, option that a lot of people have found therapeutic and that works for them. And it is just, again, a holistic way approach to dealing with some of our everyday issues that we may have. So, Kim, we're going to start very simple because I'm sure a lot of people are like, sound therapy, certified bioenergy sound therapy. What in the world is that? So, can you start? First, just start by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. Um, well, I guess I'll start off with my story about how I got into sound healing. Um, and that really kind of takes me back to the thoughts of, when I was growing up, I would be listening to a lot of, like many people, mainstream music, rock music, country music, and so forth. And, at some point, I started paying attention to lyrics and, a lot of the music had like good tunes and good beats. But when I started listening to the lyrics and the words, it's like, oh, all these stories are so sad. So, I began to shift into listening to alternative Christian music, which I found very healing. Um, but what I learned over time was, how the music affected me and how it affected my emotions, and the words and the lyrics. They really influenced my thoughts. So my first introduction to using sound for a healing purpose was really back in 2016, 2017. And at the time I was working up in the Pentagon City area, commuting on I-95. We all know how that is. And I found it to be extremely stressful. So, in reaching back to the understanding of how, sound could be used, how it affected my emotions, I shifted to listening to some new age music, which I didn't know much about. And there was this one in particular music track that, I would listen to that would just, I found that would just calm my nerves. And it was this chanting, like the deep Om, the monks, how they have that really deep chant, and it was just very calming to me. And so that was really my first introduction to using sound for a healing purpose. And then, around the same time frame, I stumbled across Eileen Day McCusick's book, Biofield Tuning, and read her book. The book was, everything in it just resonated with me. I followed up by taking her foundations training and eventually her practitioner's training. And now I'm a certified in biofield tuning. And that's also where I learned to use weighted tuning forks on the body, and I developed a certain protocol to help relieve knee pain. But we can talk about that later. So also around the same time, in the mornings, I would listened to YouTube, and I stumbled across this lady whose name is Geraldine Glass of Crystal Cadence. And she played these crystal alchemy bowls I have never seen before. And the tones were just really magical. And it penetrated my whole being. And I felt, it was changing my life. And so what I noticed was that listening to, her music, the Crystal Alchemy bowls, just the crystal singing bowls, I was just noticing how, I was experiencing this change in my psyche. I was just finding myself become more calm and less triggered by the stressors that I had in my life. And it was like, within that first week, I knew it's like this transformational experience. I just wanted to bring it to other people like me because, who's not stressed in this world, right? So, from that point, I just did a lot of research and, took all the training I could and just sort of dived down the rabbit hole. And, since then, started developing my sound therapy practice. And so, yeah, it's become my passion to support others in their wellness journey by offering tools that promote deep relaxation, emotional clarity, and inner peace, like I had experienced. So, whether it's through sound baths or digital experiences, hopefully, it's a way to bring more beauty to the lives of those that I inspire.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us what exactly sound healing is, and then how it works? What is it
Yeah.
that's causing the
Right. Right.
calmness that comes across you?
Yeah, that's what everybody wants to know. Because it seems such like a strange thing. It's becoming more well known, but there's a lot of people that just don't understand it. And it is really simple. But as I just explained that, there's really nothing new about using sound and vibration as a therapeutic tool. It's been around for thousands of years, and it's been known to have many profound impacts on the mind and body. Even back in um, days, eons ago, the Greek physicians would use flutes and lyres and zithers to heal their patients. They would use these instruments to aid in digestion, treatment of mental issues, and also to induce sleep. So at the cellular level, everything in our body is made up of energy and vibration, including, our tissues, our organs, and, even our emotions. And when we experience emotional or physical blockages, whether that's stress or pain or trauma, these things manifest in our energy field as imbalances or in our body as imbalances. And the sound, from the instruments, they're like, from crystal bowls or tuning forks or gongs, and lots of other instruments, they can help restore the balance, bring about harmony in the body and mind. And it's the frequencies that are resonating with different areas of our energy body and helping to dissolve those blockages. So, for example, low frequency sounds, they can help to ground and calm the nervous system, and that promotes relaxation. While the higher frequencies, they can stimulate and elevate mood, and that supports the emotional side. In addition, it can help to release those stuck emotions, like I was just mentioning. So if, someone that's experiencing a lot of grief or anxiety, that's really good for breaking up those energy blockages and restoring to a state of flow. So that could be in the form of improved circulation, reduced pain, or emotional clarity. Also, so there's a lot of terms that are used in this space, right? So we got sound therapy, sound healing, frequency therapy, vibroacoustic therapy. There's a lot of terms, shamanic healing. Um, so the list goes on, and a lot of people use these terms interchangeably.
Mhm.
But when I'm using the term sound therapy, I'm referring to the method. And when I refer to the term sound healing, I typically refer to the positive result that comes from the experience of the session. But, a simple way to explain sound therapy, if you just kind of want to coin it into a phrase, basically it's the process of using sounds and vibration and music, and special instruments which are played in a therapeutic manner, combined with techniques that aid in the ability to bring about a transformational healing of some kind, which may then lead to improved health and well-being physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It's kind of like massage therapy in a way, but through the use of sound, working all the way through your body's tissues and cells, with the goal to just restore to balance and bring up any emotional releases or sadness that can happen, and just allow your body to process all of that. Because oftentimes we experience, if we experience something that's traumatic or stressful, we tend to suppress or, tuck those emotions deep within our psyche and just not allow our bodies to process them. So they, always stay buried. So sound therapy, using the sound, you can use it as a catalyst, helping to bring these emotions to the surface in a very gentle way. And this allows the body to feel and, just release that pain. And, sometimes I'm sure you experience, like, having a good cry over something is really helpful, or, just reframing a traumatic experience can be incredibly helpful in the healing process. And one more thing quickly. So I do want to mention that sort of it's related to sound healing is, I don't know if you've heard of the cognitive triangle, but it shows how our thoughts and emotions and behaviors are interconnected. And, we use the frequencies to influence these elements by calming the mind. So, our thoughts shape our feelings, and, that shapes our behaviors, and that goes back to shaping our thoughts again. So it's kind of like a triangle. So, with consistent practice over time, this helps to retrain the mind and body, and respond to stress with greater ease and resilience. And the other thing, as far as how it works, this is very important to know. So again, with the sound works on the principle that everything in the universe is energy and vibration, and our bodies are made up of water, and sound travels through water faster than air. And so that's one reason why, I always ask my clients, make sure you're hydrated before you come, because, the body is an excellent conductive medium for sound. And the two ways that, the two main healing methods that explains how it works is psychoacoustics and vibroacoustics. So psychoacoustics is basically how we perceive and respond to the various sounds. The sound affects our nervous system and then trains our brain waves. Whereas vibroacoustics, this is where your body feels the vibrations, and it goes down to the deep cellular level. So, you can have the vibrating instruments placed directly on your body, or you will actually feel the vibrations through the air while you're receiving. So, in a sound session, you'll generally experience both methods. Again, I may not be applying the instruments directly on the body, but you still feel the vibrations coming from the instruments. So that's really what it boils down to, two methods of shifting your nervous system into a parasympathetic nervous system state. Sorry,
Okay.
that was long-winded.
It's okay because it covered several points of things that I wanted
Yeah.
to add. So it just kind of encompassed it all in one. But so what does the research say about this? Because I'm sure, it's different. It's something that a lot of people that rely heavily on Western medicine would probably consider as quackery. So what does the research say about the effects of the sound on the brain and body?
Yeah. So, now more than ever, there's a lot of research being done showing how sound can affect the brain and body. And there's a lot of peer-reviewed studies out there, and then there are more that are anecdotal. There's papers and articles that are more anecdotal. Um, but I want to separate sound therapy from medical applications for a moment here. So in sound therapy, I know that there are some studies that support things like, again, the low frequency vibration to reduce pain and improve sleep, and also binaural beats to influence mood and brainwave activity. There are many articles that are more anecdotal, where people are often reporting relaxation benefits and emotional balance. And we all know peer-reviewed studies are not inexpensive, so we're going to see more of that on the anecdotal side. But in the medical field, sound is very precise, using very precise research-backed ways, such as in ultrasound for imaging. It can be used for healing tissues, shockwave therapy to break up kidney stones, focused ultrasound to treat tumors, and even certain brain disorders. And there's one doctor that I've done some research in, Dr. Lee Bartell. He's conducted a lot of research on the vibroacoustic technologies, and he has found that certain frequencies in combination with the right protocols have profound impacts on dementia or Alzheimer's patients, patients that have been suffering from fibromyalgia pain, and even with tumor and dyskinesia symptoms in Parkinson's patients. So, while the applications are different, both show that vibration and frequency can have a real impact on the human body. And I think we can take a lot from Dr. Bartell's experience from the medical side and apply it to the sound healing side. And one of the frequencies that he has studied, that he has developed his vibroacoustic system around, is the 40 hertz frequency. And this is basically it's a seat back that you just put in your chair, and you listen to the sounds, and it vibrates. And you just do that for like 20-30 minutes each day. And apparently it's supposed to really help those that have dementia and Alzheimer's and so forth. So if you know anyone that is suffering from that condition, you can certainly check him out. And
Yeah, that's amazing.
yeah, yeah. And with respect to scientific research regarding specific frequencies to organs, because I get this question all the time, there's no solid evidence to this. However, we do know that there's research studies, there's evidence how sound therapy can influence the various psychological and physical processes supporting its, use from it, holistic practices. So yeah, if you want to take a deeper dive into that, I do have a location on my website where you can learn more and just go from there. But you can go down the rabbit trail with that.
I'm sure, especially when you're very curious, like I can be.
Yes.
So I do have a question, and they may be just totally two different things, but it made me think of it being akin to the vibration that comes from like a TENS unit. So
Yeah.
is there a similar, um, I want to say thought process, but a similar, the way that it works? Is it, these are vibrations through like electrical vibrations, but do you feel like it's still akin to the vibrations that we get from sound healing and the way that they affect the body?
Um, well, Now, I haven't really studied a whole lot about the TENS unit. I have used the TENS unit in the past, and I think it interrupts signals or something. I'm not exactly sure the science about how it works. But with the sound therapy, we're working with the brain waves, and also, the skin, we have mechanoreceptors in our skin, so we're receiving the sound and vibrations, and it's being transferred to our energetic system that way. So I think the TENS unit, it may be akin, but I'm not exactly sure because I really haven't studied the TENS
Yeah.
unit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, are there any particular, I know you mentioned in the beginning that some of the lower frequencies, I think you said they help you go into the parasympathetic nervous system. Are there any frequencies or instruments particular that are just very unique to what they can do, where they tap into, and what areas they start healing?
Yeah. So, as it comes to frequency, I know there's a lot out there in social media. So always be careful what you read or hear because there's a lot of myths being spread out there when it relates to the frequencies. And in sound therapy, there are instances, often described in um, articles where, say, a session was linked to a particular outcome. While the outcome may be very genuine and perceived as healing, there is no scientific evidence directly connecting the frequency to that result. However, there is, the association is linked. So, for example, like the 528 hertz frequency, it's associated with stress release and emotional balance. And, that's because there was a study linking that frequency hertz. And they found in that study by using that frequency, that they were able to reduce cortisol levels and increase the parasympathetic nervous system in the participants that partook in that study. But really, you can use breaking news. You can use any frequency to do the same thing. Now, in sound therapy, I do use lower frequencies on the body for like pain reduction, but I'm not really focusing on using a specific frequency to induce a certain result. So, also using low frequencies, like in vibroacoustic therapy for muscle relaxation. Again, like I used it on my knee. Um, but yeah, just be very careful. And um, again, there's no peer-reviewed study that identifies a specific frequency to that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of research that's happening about how, again, sound can be used on the body, but the focus is more about influencing the brain waves and nervous system. Yeah. Sorry, there's
And
no one magic frequency.
well, there, yeah, I know I've seen it even on probably YouTube. It'll say that the
Yeah.
healing frequency.
Yeah. There's a lot out there.
Yeah.
It's like when I see that, it's like, okay, show me the study and the footnote because I really want to know.
Yeah. I know you mentioned knee pain in particular and trauma. What other conditions or challenges do you feel like sound healing can help with? Or is there one thing particular that you see a lot from your customer base?
Yeah. So So just some general things. It can help to, so I'm not going to like focus on any conditions because I don't want to bleed over into the medical side of things. But it can, aid in helping to lower blood pressure. I think I've mentioned reduce anxiety, improve sleep, support emotional and physical healing, um, helping to reframe undesirable thought patterns. Um, and just, some of the results are bringing about a peaceful and calm state of being. So really anyone that is dealing with stress or is feeling overwhelmed or anxious, difficulty sleeping, anyone dealing with an illness, or just simply needs a few moments to just unwind and have some me time, um, and just to, find just that moment each day to be still so they can rejuvenate their mind and body. But yeah, so some of my clients that have come and seen me that have medical conditions, they will find that this one particular patient that I'm going to call her patient, but client that comes to see me, um, she's in constant pain. And when she is on my therapy table receiving a one-to-one session, what she often tells me is that, how much of a blessing it is for her to just be able to lay there without pain for an entire hour. And, that's like, this is the whole reason why I'm doing it is to bring this kind of healing to someone. So that's, that's one experience. And then another experience of a client was going through a breakup, and she just needed to process through a lot of the emotions, and a certain way that I was playing the gong, it just helped to bring that emotional release up so she could, express it and feel it. So that, there's some interesting things that come about during the sessions.
So it sounds like it can force us to deal with the thing that we keep stuffing down or running away from, or force us just to, sometimes I think we want to be busy because it helps us not deal with what's really going on in our life. So we're
Right.
always busy, 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 looking for the next thing to do.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
this is a great way to force yourself to address it and actually heal it, start healing it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So let's say, someone on the call, you've piqued their interest a little bit and they're like, oh, this is interesting. What could they expect during a typical sound healing session?
Yeah. So, all the practitioners are different. So I'm just going to speak for myself. So I think the healing space is something that's very important. So when someone comes in, they can expect to be warmly invited, and come into a peaceful place, into a safe place, and also experience the soundscape where that's played in such a way that they can feel comfortable in surrendering to the experience, and also stay grounded. Um, so I will typically incorporate a guided meditation to help drop them down into a relaxed state, which, that can include working through a body scan, doing a little bit of breath work, or walking them through an experiential journey. That's always kind of nice, especially if it's something that they're wanting to target on working through. And then, I use a variety of instruments. Again, the crystal bowls are kind of one of those main things that I use during my sessions, the gongs, chimes, and a number of other things. So I'm playing the instruments close to their body and around them, and just helping to facilitate their transition from an active beta state, which is what we're in right now, to a more calming alpha and theta state, which is like deep relaxation. And then oftentimes people will just fall asleep because they're so relaxed. And when they fall asleep, that's really a good thing. But they'll often wake up and say, "Oh, is it over yet?" Yes. But anyway, the sound that the way that I play it very therapeutically, which you experienced a brief time there, it just targets the mind and the body, and it resets the nervous system, again, helping to release those stuck emotions and just foster that relaxation, and ultimately, rejuvenating the mind and body. So also during the sessions, with if they're just in that deep state and they're not asleep, then they can also potentially begin to see like colors in their mind's eye, shapes, and what I refer to as mindscape stories. And that's really pretty cool. I know when that happens to me, it's like, I don't want to wake up because I'm enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes the sound experience can be really enjoyable. Um, but if there's like a certain intention that you're wanting to work on, then just know that those experiences, while it can still be enjoyable, it may not, you may have some emotions and stuff that's being brought up, and you may not perceive it as an enjoyable experience, but it's that's the healing part of it. You got to work through some of the emotions so you can release it from your body and experience that healing.
Yeah.
But yeah, always communicate that to whoever it is you're working with. If there's like a certain um, intention that you want to work on, because um, also, if I don't know what the person wants, then I will just go into it with the understanding that we're just going to have like a passive type session, and I'll just play very therapeutically, more of a relaxation type of thing. But if they want to work on something that's going to bring up some emotions and so forth, I may play my instruments in a very specific way. So
Mm,
that's important to bring up. Yeah.
yeah. If I recall, I think it was the gong that made me actually feel like I was almost floating.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, so it was a very unique experience. But I can definitely the relaxation and the just release of just letting go was definitely there.
Right. Yeah. And I even have some of my sessions. Generally, I just introduce, a variety of instruments, but some of my sessions, it's a gong therapy session, and I'm playing the gongs the whole time. And with it, I have a variety of sizes. And so it's the gongs and some of the um, Himalayan bowls, and that's a journey. That's a journey. I take people through a journey. I'll walk them through. I'll let them know up front, this is the experience that you can think about going through. But yeah, that's gongs are great.
So is this something that someone could try safely at home? Let's say, like I mentioned, I had seen it on YouTube. Let's say I see it on YouTube and I just want to press play on the video. How do you recommend that as someone who's completely new to sound healing, don't really know what I'm getting into? It just sounds cool and I'm about to press play. How do you recommend that we start with that?
Yeah. So I would just start. So, yeah, maybe first of all, just be very intentional in setting out each day to set 3 to 5 minutes aside. And you can, again, find some YouTube videos like you did, like I did. On my YouTube site, I have a playlist of videos that are just 5 minutes. So these people don't have a lot of time, or they want to get introduced to it, they can start there. You can also use other audio files. There's also a tone therapy system. I just did a 9-part video series on that on YouTube. It's essentially these two speakers, and they play these very specific tones, and it's designed to only play for 3 minutes because that's really all it takes to get you into that deep therapeutic state. So that's another technique that you can use to get into it. If you have the voice, your own voice is very therapeutic. So if you just sit there for 3 to 5 minutes and just go through, a hum or chant, that's something you can start doing. And then I would say if you're going to integrate some instruments, to use something that's very simple, like the chimes. There's a variety of like Koshi chimes or Zephyr chimes. They're just very simple. Try to find things that you can do where you can close your eyes, and the chimes is one of them that you can. Um, the ocean drum, that's very therapeutic, and with practice, that's something else that you can do as well. So you just really need to figure out what, works for you. Get started with something. And of course, that'll change over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how often do you recommend that we engage in it if we truly want to get the lasting effects, if we want to start seeing a difference? How often should we engage?
Right. I, so consistently, just practice consistently. Um, you know, because it's with that consistency, like, you will resonate and with your most consistent state, right? So, it's with that consistent practice that over time you'll begin to notice the subtle differences and, just the quiet bloom of transformation. I know this is what, happened for me personally. So, again, just depending on your personal goals but daily practice, 3 to 5 minutes. I would also suggest integrating some private sessions so you can get that full immersive experience of the sound and vibrations. Um, and even with my private one-to-one sessions, I say, at least commit yourself to like 3 sessions, because generally, the first session, you're just kind of working through the process, getting used to it. And the following sessions, you should be, feeling more comfortable, with the process, with me as your practitioner, and with your ability to release the emotions, in a different space. Um, yeah, so consistency, and then maybe um, privately, with your daily practice, and then working with a practitioner every, say, 4 to 6 weeks is a good way to help facilitate developing those lasting impacts. But I personally do something pretty much every day.
Wow.
It's small and simple. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I noticed for myself is that now, so I've been doing this for a while, right? So one thing that I've been noticing recently, which is kind of bizarre when it happens, is like the things that may occur, like a car will run in front of me and I don't even react. It's like my emotions, I don't even react to it. It's like I should be mad, I should be upset, I should be expressing something. It's like, why am I not expressing anything? It's I'm so calm. But it's just again, I don't know how it works in that way, but I've just noticed a gentle change over time where again, I'm not reacting to the triggers like I used to. So that's nice.
Yeah. Talk about being in control, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you say it can be something small daily. It's like 10 minutes a day. Do you feel like that's enough? Should it be 15, 20?
You know, yeah, we're so busy, right? So if you can just take 5 minutes each day, and
Okay.
then if you want to, make it longer, that's great. But if you can carve out 3 to 5 minutes each day, if in the morning, the afternoon, um, again, that's great. But just start there.
Yeah.
You start there. If you have an instrument, if you have a piano or if you play an instrument at home, take that and play it. That's, self sound therapy too.
Yeah. And if you don't have 3 to 5 minutes in your day, we need to discuss that further. But
Yes.
that's a different issue.
Exactly.
So we tapped on this a little bit earlier when I mentioned the research part in Western medicine. Maybe some people that just so stuck on that, not wanting to explore, believe the benefits of sound, things like sound healing. How do you see sound healing fitting into mainstream wellness or medical practices in the future as people are tapping more and more into alternative healing modalities and bringing them, making them complementary to, like, we're not cutting off our primary care doctors. We're kind of making it full circle where we're going to them for what we need them for, but we're also doing things like sound healing and acupuncture um, and yoga on a regular basis. How do you see this all coming together as we step into the future of medical practices?
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it's definitely not a substitute for the traditional treatments. And, sound therapy can certainly provide a holistic approach to complementing the, medical care, aiding the body in that healing process. And so, it's really effective when used alongside the medical treatments. Especially again, like, stress related conditions or chronic pain or emotional imbalances. Um, so, for those that are seeking a holistic approach, sound therapy again enhances the medical treatments by improving, just the overall well-being, reducing the side effects, strengthening the mind-body connection. In fact, I have a whole page dedicated on my website to integrative oncologist Dr. Gaynor. I don't know if you've seen that, but he used sound and music therapy as a part of his patients' treatment protocols for over 25 years. And he found that the sound therapy helped his patients relax and experienced a lasting harmony and peace long after the cancer treatments that his patients were receiving. So, it's also good for creating an environment for becoming more receptive to treatments, whatever that is, for pre and post surgery at a medical center. I would say it's also a good complementary approach to be integrated at counseling services
Mhm.
for hospital-based wellness centers, outpatient management clinics, physical therapy, and clinics like that, and also cancer treatments. If there's cancer treatments that offer complementary therapies, that's really a good way to integrate sound therapy with the traditional medical community.
And have you found, I don't know how often you talk to actual medical doctors about it. Have you found, if you've had that conversation, have you found them to be receptive and understand see the connection and the benefits?
Yeah, I really haven't had any conversations with the medical community yet. I do plan on reaching out to the local cancer centers at some point to see if they would like to integrate sound therapy for their patients that are receiving cancer treatments. Because again, Geraldine Glass, the lady that kind of kicked me off into this years ago, that's something that she's done out there in California. And of course, Dr. Gaynor, he incorporated it into his. So, just receiving, cancer treatments, that's really stressful in and of itself. But, they found that the sound just helps to ease their mind and just become more receptive in receiving those treatments. So yeah, eventually I'm going to contact the local cancer centers to have that discussion.
Good luck with that, because I think it would be awesome.
Yeah.
It's got to definitely be a stressful time in someone's life.
Yes, unfortunately. And there's so
Maybe
many
things
people
to
doing
help them.
cancer.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give to those who are very curious now? You've truly piqued their interest, but they're a little skeptical. What
Yeah.
advice would you give to someone who's feeling that way right now?
Yeah. So again, there's research online. You can do a lot of research there. You can go to PubMed. You can go to my website and start, down the rabbit hole of, doing a lot of research from that point. Read the testimonials, not only from my site, but read the testimonials from people that have experienced sound therapy. And just give it a try and keep an open mind. That's the other thing. When you're new to this, it's easy to think outside the box and think it's, oh, this must be something else. But you just kind of keep an open mind to the whole process and trust in the process of sound. um, and also there's many practitioners out there. So you should find one, experience a variety and find one that resonates with you. We're all a little bit different in our approach. I personally take a more scientific and mindfulness based approach, and other practitioners may bring in the more metaphysical aspects of it. So yeah, but as far as the research, if they're skeptical, I would start there and read testimonials and talk to people that have experienced it, and then go to a group sound bath.
Ah,
Yeah.
um, touch on that for us a little bit. What's the difference between a group session and me coming by myself?
Yeah. So a group session, basically, it's more a communal experience. And so everyone that is there or is receiving the benefit, I would say if you're looking for that communal experience, the groups are fun. They're nice. Like if you wanted to have like a girls' night out or something like that, it's something you could do together. Um, the the difference between the groups and the private sessions are, with the private sessions, they're really tailored for you, the individual. And I'm also bringing more of the instruments and the frequencies closer to your body, so you get to feel the vibrations more so. Um, but yeah, I think that's the main difference.
Okay.
It's more
Okay.
tailored, but they're both very immersive.
Does anyone have any questions for Kim? Anything that she didn't answer that you were curious about, or anything that you would like her to go a little deeper into her answer?
Nothing for me. I very interesting. Are you local to Fredericksburg?
I am,
You
yes.
are okay.
The 22401 area, zip code. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm in '07.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have us get your information before we leave, Kim. I don't know. I just see iPhone, so I'm gonna assume
Okay.
don't have any questions there. But yeah, before you go, give us your socials, your website, how we can contact you. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, so my website is Rays, RAYS, of Life, LIFE, soundtherapy.com. And from there, you can go to, there's like a contact, and there's a link that will take you to the link tree. And that link tree will show you all of my different social media connections. I would say that's probably the easiest way.
Okay.
But I'm predominantly I upload on YouTube and post things over to Instagram and Facebook. But
Okay.
YouTube is where everything gets released first, so check there.
That's the sneak preview, huh?
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much again, Kimberly. I appreciate you doing this for us. It was very informative. I had that one session, but I've learned so much more from you tonight. And it's making me realize I need to come do it some more. So you'll probably
Wonderful.
be seeing me soon. Um,
Maybe
we're,
we can do a girls group session.
yeah, I
Would
might
be
try to
nice.
put that together. That would be
Yeah.
fun. Would be
Yeah.
fun.
So I do, so my sessions are the one-to-one individual couples, and I do small group sound baths at my residence. So that's an option. And then I do offer um, where I can come out to the on-site, and sometimes I do on-site events, larger events. So I was working with, oh, what's the name of it? Just down the street. Natural Radiant. I did a sound
Oh,
bath
yeah.
at their facility a couple weeks ago now. So we're talking about the possibility of doing more group events there, or just trying to figure out how many people we could get into one of their rooms. Are you familiar with Natural Radiant?
Yeah, I actually went there
Not.
2 weeks ago
Okay.
to meet with one
Oh,
of the ladies. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they're wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
So the couples one that you mentioned, is it typically just like the two people that are in a relationship, or can you do multiple couples at once?
um, so so it can be like you and your girlfriend, you and a family member. It doesn't have to be, a significant other or anything like
Okay.
that. So the two, like in the space where we did your session, I can put two individuals in there to do the couple session. Or, if there's like two couples that want to experience the group session, then we can do that in the other room. And everybody would be seated in a reclining position. So as much as I can, I like having people um, seated in a chair of some sort, not on the floor, which, when you go out to these larger sound bath events, you're typically laying on the floor and it's not as comfortable.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, awesome. Again, thank you so much. We appreciate you, and I will be seeing you soon. Any last closing words? Any?
Oh goodness, just start those 3 to 5 minutes tonight, just get it started. Because we just live in such a stressful state, and we just need to slow down and again take that moment to hit pause and the reset button, and just find out what works for you when you're doing your own session, because a sound body and a sound mind and sound spirit leads to a sound you. So again, small changes over time, that's what leads to the profound healing. So, but thank you so much for having me, and I
Of
look forward to
course.
seeing you in the future.
Can we find a session to start with on your YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. I have a number of playlists. On my YouTube site, there's one that where I'm playing the gong. People typically seem to like that a lot, especially if you're like having some insomnia and have a hard time going to sleep, or if you wake up during the night, can't get back to sleep. The vibrations, even though it's in a YouTube video, the vibrations that are coming through on that are really helpful. So that's one of them. And There's some other ones that where I may have sleep in the title that are just very calming and peaceful. There's a video with an alchemy set that I have that's like very colorful. That's very uplifting. So if you're kind of like, feeling down a little bit, that's one of those videos that can help you, improve your mood and just feel more elevated. So, but yeah,
Awesome.
there's a lot there for you to be able to dive into.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Stay tuned for the post for part two, where we'll dive into another holistic healing modality, something that's also very interesting and unique. And I'm looking forward to that. But again, thank you so much, Kimberly, and we appreciate you. Have a good night.